All right. So first of all, thanks a lot for coming on here. I appreciate it. We had a couple of hiccups here trying to get it squared away, but I'm glad we did. The one thing I always see on Facebook, and one thing about you is that I always see the way you and Case go at it, Tommy Case, and I think that's hilarious. You guys are just relentless against each other, and it is funny. I mean, that's probably the highlight of my day is watching you two kind of give each other crap.
He started it, so
Right? He always does. That's right.
he accused me of putting ketchup on eggs, which I've never done. I don't, like, I don't care if somebody puts ketchup on their eggs. I'm just not going to do it.
Right. Right.
It kind of morphed into what it is, So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, take me back to we usually start out with like your history. So what prompted you to get in the military? Tell us the catalyst that got you into the military, and then we'll just go from there. We'll talk about how tech school and all that other stuff.
Well, my dad was a World War II vet. My brother was a Navy vet. I had always said that I was going to go in the Air Force. I didn't know why. That's just what I was going to do. The counselor at school was like, "You're not going to go to college." I'm like, and she said I puffed my chest out, and I'm like, "I'm going in the Air Force." And so when I graduated high school, I was working locally. I was working full time, but I was classified part time. I needed benefits, but something in the back of my head, like I knew I needed to grow up. And my dad was in an organization called National Ruatam, which is a community service organization. And I was with him one night, and they had all the service recruiters come there and give their spiels. And the Air Force recruiter really got my attention, and I started talking to him. So I actually signed the papers July 14th, 1980,
Okay.
which was very important because it was before September 1st of 80. And if you're in before September 1st, 1980, you're grandfathered into the old system. So no matter what they do to the military retirement system, it didn't affect me.
Oh, okay.
I actually left for basic training December 12th of 1980. And I knew coming in that I was going into it's called Tactical Air Command and Control Specialist career field. I came in guaranteed that job.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of comical because I told the recruiter I wanted to work with radios, being a DJ. That's what was in my brain. Well,
Okay.
I'm working with radios, so I hung it out. I went down to graduate basic, went over to Herbert Field, which is what we were trained in. I was in Eagle Class number 2.
Wow.
So basically, I'm called a dinosaur because I graduated from there in June of 1981. My assignment was to Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina, 21st Task. And so we went TDY out of there at all the Army forts,
Mm-hmm.
And then right at the end of that, they were getting ready to farm us out into the Army forts. And I took a role into Air Force recruiting and came to Stanton, Virginia as an Air Force recruiter.
Oh, okay.
And I did that for almost 4 years, and I pulled back out and went back into the career field. And I was supposed to be going to Howard Air Force Base, Panama, but something happened and the assignment fell through. So he said, "There's really only choice that you've got is Fort Drum, New York." So I went up there, and that's before they got the stuff they got there now, but it wasn't a bad assignment. Now, what I did on the side is I bowled all the time. So I lived in the bowling center. So,
Oh, okay.
in fact, my plaque from Fort Drum's like I came, I bowled, I left. But ironically, when I was at Fort Drum, we went over to Germany for Reforger, which is an exercise.
Uh-huh.
And I was assigned there at Stuttgart. And when I came back, I got orders to Stuttgart.
Oh,
So I
wow.
already knew where I was going, and so I got there in August of 1980. No, 1980, August of 1990.
Okay.
Spacing myself back there for a minute. And so, of course, Desert Shield has kicked off at that point. Everything is gearing up, and, we're in 7th Corps. Our commander, Colonel Zaire, was telling the Army Force, "What's your wartime contingency plans?" And he "Sit down, Colonel Zaire, 7th Corps doesn't deploy," which they never had since World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in November, President Bush said 7th Corps is being deployed.
Yeah.
Well, now all the Army's running around with like chickens with their heads cut off because they weren't ready. We had packed all our stuff, and the Army's like, "You need to help us." And he's like, "Nope, my guys are going to spend time with their families because I told you over and over and over again they're going to need another Armor Corps. We were the closest ones." So I agreed to go on the Advon team. I got down in the country the 2nd of December of 1990, and we sat there waiting for our equipment. And I don't know if you remember who General Dugan was.
No, not really.
General Dugan basically said we were going to blow Saddam off the face of the earth. He got fired for doing that. I think he was. I want to say he was the chief of staff. But anyway, we got there and we're watching all the armament coming off these ships. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to prove General Dugan right. We're going to annihilate this guy with the armament that we had. And so I was assigned at the 7th Corps Maine area. And so during Desert Storm, when Schwarzkopf would determine what unit he was going to hit, the air tasking order came to my terminal. I was in a 1 deep position. And I kept looking and saying, and air tasking orders just like a bunch of numbers. It makes no sense. And I'm sitting there, I said, got to be a way to convert this stuff into a readable format.
Right.
Me and a major worked on it, and we got it to where it was readable. And then I said, why can't we put it out on the bulletin board and use the daily challenge password for the commanders to retrieve it? So what we did by doing that is we took the commanders were able to get the air tasking order in less than an hour versus hours and days if they had to drive to get it.
Oh, okay.
So they knew the day before what they were going the next day, and they could lay their troops out how they needed to do it.
Nice.
Because we basically owned the skies.
Yeah.
If it flew, it was either friendly or wasn't friendly, because the F-15s and everything, were good. But
right.
Part of what we did over there is Schwarzkopf had an F-16 fly up and down the border. Mm. Well, Saddam would turn on his anti-aircraft and track all the locations. We were capturing it, feeding it to the Navy. They were custom building cruise missiles. So at 3 o'clock in the morning on January 17th, local time, all the cruise missiles launched and took out all of Saddam's command and control.
That's awesome.
He couldn't talk to anybody. He didn't know where they're at, didn't know anything. They were, gone. So then we, for probably almost up to the end of February, we just bombed them at will. I mean, right. The psyops that they use over there was ridiculous. I mean, they go there the day before and drop leaflets on you. Hey, we're going to be here tomorrow to bomb you. If you want to live, this is what you need to do. And then show up the next day and do it. I don't care how tough you think you are. If somebody says, I'm going to be here tomorrow to beat the heck out of you and then show up the next day and do it, that's going to unnerve you.
Right.
That's what the psyops was. It was so great. We were a one-sided war. But, so we did all that. Of course, it was over with by the end of February. One of the first briefings that we had when we got there, when General Horner was at our area, he told the Army, he says, look, we need to be done with this thing by March 1st. He said, Army, we're going to give you a week. We'll take care of the rest of it. So when it ended, right there at the end of February, it was done before March 1st, so we spent the months after that cleaning up equipment to load up to come home. So I came back to Germany April 25th of 1991, being there December 2nd. I could have stayed longer for a short tour of credit, but I was tired. I was in a 1 deep position, 16-hour days.
Man.
I was tired. I wanted to go. And we landed to a red carpet reception. It was really, really nice what we came back to, that they hadn't forgot us. And we got back to Germany and said, all right, see you guys in 30 days. If you want to leave the country, though, you got to take leave. So I took leave. I'll come home for like 2 weeks.
Nice.
And then we got back and they announced they were closing the 7th Corps. So we spent the rest of the time just getting equipment, the computers wiped, all the information wiped off of them so we could turn them in. And that's what I did until I left in December of 91. And I had orders to Fort Carson, Colorado. And it was there I was medically retrained out of the career field because my neck and shoulders were so bad that I physically could not get there to do their job.
Oh, okay.
Do the job, but physically I was so broken that I just couldn't get there to do it. So I was medically retrained in the personnel. And I helped rewrite a lot of the Air Force regulations into Air Force instructions that they use.
Okay.
And so I learned a lot, on how command and control works. But they dropped me in Altus, Oklahoma, and left me there for 8.5 years. But I'll tell you, it was the best assignment that I ever had, because I got into storm chasing there, and it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Been a few too close to a few tornadoes,
Oh, really?
But they're massive when you see them. It's just it's almost like a deer in headlights thing. You're just like, like, no, get out of the way.
Well, when you chase the storms, are you trying to collect data, or are you just getting pictures, or what are you trying to do?
I was with a team of storm chasers.
Okay.
I wasn't a storm chaser. I just got to ride along with them, which I thought was neat.
Yeah.
Watching what they do and how they predict. Because the National Weather Service really depends on those storm chasers to tell them what this storm is doing. Because you can look at it on radar. These guys have got the eye on the storm, and I've watched them tell them it's going to go through a certain city, and the storm would do it. That's how these guys are just that good. It's going to go through there. So, it was interesting. I mean, in recruiting, I had a few stories. I could keep you here all day with stories.
Yeah, let me hear them.
Well, when I was in recruiting in Stanton, we had a guy, I had him signed up to go in the Air Force, and the Army was famous for stealing applicants. This guy's scores were just barely enough to get in, and he comes to me. He goes, "I'm gonna go in the Army." I'm like, "Why?" Well, they say I'm gonna work on the Apache helicopter. And I look at him. I said, "You might be able to see an Apache from where you're going to be at, but you're not going to be working on one." And so he went to the Army. Now, I come out of recruiting, and I get to Fort Drum. We have an emergency deployment readiness exercise, so it's my turn. So I'm sitting on the hood of my Hummer with my flop hat on, my Oakley sunglasses, just kicked back leaning. And a team coming across the parking lot. And I'm like, well, look, here's an 11 Bravo at Fort Drum, New York. Look, there's no Apaches up here. They lied to me. I'm like, I tried to tell you. So, you didn't listen. I said, there's nothing you can do now. You just got to do your time. I said, but you can go back to Stanton and make those guys look bad. And that's what he did. He came back in and he raised some. They had to clear the recruiting office out and put brand new recruiters in there.
Oh, really?
He went in and told them, you guys lied your butt. I mean, he was that. Told everybody in there they were losing applicants left and right because he was telling them the truth.
What a coincidence, though, that you ran into that guy later on. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I just you gotta be kidding me. Look at this dude. I tried to tell him, and so I mean, there's stories like that. When I went in, when they medically retrained me out of career field, I went to Keesler Air Force Base Personnel School, and that's a 14-week self-paced school. You pace yourself out through it. I graduated that school in 9 days with a 99.2% average.
Jeez.
The new airmen around there were looking at me like, where you at? I said, I'm on block 7. God, I'm on block 1. How you doing? Because all it was teaching me was how to look up stuff in regs. Well, I already knew how to do that.
Right.
So it was like, boom, find the answer, boom, boom, boom. I was done in 9 days. And I was ticked that I couldn't find the one answer that I couldn't find because I could have graduated with 100%. So I came back, and because of my scores and stuff, I thought I was going to an orderly room. That's what they called them back then.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're going to put you in assignments. We think you better fit over there. So I actually got to effect a lot of change in assignments. And then when I came out of that, went into what was then called the Commander Support Staff. I had the #1 government travel charge card program in the entire United States Air Force because of the way it was run. And in fact, they're still using it. There's a program now called Leave Web. I was involved on that. The virtual MPF, I helped build that. So my fingerprints are on a whole lot of stuff out there where you won't see my name, but it's there. And I'm wow, thankful that I got to experiment those things.
Yeah. That stuff is awesome. I mean, just the Leave Web and the virtual MPF, I use those daily when I was in. They were awesome programs.
Yeah,
that's cool.
When we were doing virtual MPF, they called me one day, and they said, "How many formal training requests do you get?" I'm like, "You're talking about in a week, a month, or what?" I said, "We get on average 20 to 30 per day." And there's a silence in the phone. I said, "Forgot something, didn't you?" He goes, "Yeah, can you think you can put these steps together and what you do so we can get it in there?" So the formal training section was basically written by me on how
Wow.
when you get selected for like NCO Academy and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And most of the assignments stuff in there, I have my finger on with
Wow.
because the VSVAP program, the Voluntary Stabilized Base Assignment Program, came about as a result of an A1C in South Dakota, the base up at South Dakota. He wrote in saying it's not fair that he should have to spend his entire career in South Dakota because his AFSC wasn't utilized overseas.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in on this call. I'm like, he's right. He said, well, what do we do about it? I said, why don't we just come up where after 4 years they can request one of the other stateside bases because it was utilized all stateside.
Mm-hmm.
But he was stuck there because there was no assignment program to move him at the time. So
Wow.
that whole program was born because an A1C was brave enough to raise, hey, this is not fair. So the Air Force listened to that, and that's still in place. Where after you've been there for 4 years, you can put in to go somewhere else.
Wow, I never even thought about that. I just took it for granted that was the way it was. I mean, it didn't occur to me there were people out there before that were just like you said, just stuck at these bases. That man, I couldn't imagine being stuck up in North Dakota for a whole career.
South Dakota, I can't the name of the bases elude me, but it's not Minot. It's another one there.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking. It was Minot. I couldn't imagine staying there.
It's in South Dakota, Ellsworth.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it's an air base now. It might be. It might still be active, but that's in the Black Mountains of South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
And whatever AFSC, I don't remember what AFSC he had, but I knew it wasn't utilized overseas because at the time, I had stuff there. And but while I was in assignments, I had a lieutenant that really did me wrong, and he downgraded my EPR from a 5 to a 4 because he said I didn't pack quick enough for a deployment. It was an exercise, and I'm like, do you know how many times I've been deployed in my career?
Yeah, you should have been like, have you heard of Desert Storm? Yeah, I was over there. So where have you been, pal?
Like, Lieutenant, I don't need to think about this. I can do this stuff in my sleep.
Right.
So he's like, well, I talked to everyone and they all thought I made a good call. There's nothing I could do about it.
Right.
Well, he comes in for orders for Korea. And as soon as I saw it, I picked up the phone. I called downstairs to transportation. I said, I want him on the first flight you can get him on out of the U.S. There was a flight 9 days later. So I went around and I said, hey, sir, I said, we got a roll on this. Your protocol is in 9 days. I said, but we can make it work. I got all your stuff. You just got to get everything together. You're single. You probably don't have a lot to move anyway. I said, we'll get it done. And then you'll be on to your next assignment. Good luck and all that stuff. So he thought I was just really doing him a favor. He gets over to Korea to check in. He's talking about how things work. And the maintenance chief's over there. He's like, Lieutenant, you were hosed in style. Sergeant Adams got you off his base in 9 days. You didn't have to be here till next month. He's like, don't you learn never to mess with a seasoned NCO because you'll lose every time. So.
That illustrates kind of how naive a lieutenant can be. Not trying to knock them, they just don't know, and they think they're doing the right thing, and they're really stepping on it, and then that's excellent. That's awesome.
I was like, yep, I got you back. Get off my case.
It's just funny that he never put it together that, maybe you were trying to like, oh, wow, I gave him this 4, but he's also helping me. Cool. I mean, he must have learned his lesson or something.
Yeah, I think he figured it out, but he didn't know. But
that's awesome.
I set that I got him off my base in record time. And I mean, I did stuff for people all the time. I had a nurse. She was up there, and her husband was in San Antonio. And she's in tears, wants to be with her husband. Right. And I said, ma'am, let me make a few phone calls. We may be able to work something out here. I said, can you pay your own way? She goes, I don't have anything up here basically, but like one suitcase, you know.
Hmm.
I said, okay. So I sent a message down to the Air Force, you know, told them what was going on. I said, look, you know, there's openings there that we can put her in. It's permissive, you know, permissive assignment. She's willing to pay her own way. I said, I'm gonna use one of my green stamps. Let's get this approved and get her back with her husband. And so in less than 4 hours, I had her assignment approved. And I called her up and I said, I need to see you over at assignment. She come see me. So she came over there and I handed her orders. I go, here you go. You can be home tomorrow. And she's like, what? You know, just,
That's awesome.
she was just bawling crocodile tears. I said, I know you didn't want to be a part of your husband. Sometimes the Air Force can work miracles, and that's exactly what happened here. You know, so I didn't, you know, people genuinely needed help. We would get you there.
Sure.
Now, fast forward, I retire in January 1st, 2001. I left October of 2020, October of 2000. I keep getting 20 years earlier. So I'm home and I get a phone call, and it's from the chief that was in the supply squadron where I worked. Left, and he's telling me all this stuff. You know, this senior airman there, she had orders to Korea, and she didn't want to go. I'm like, well, I don't want to go. It's not a reason.
All right.
You know, I said, does she have retainability? Yeah. I said, if she's otherwise qualified, she's got to go. And I said, now, there's two ways out of it. One, she can shoot bad at the rifle range. That'll disqualify her. I said,
Right.
she's married. She can get pregnant. That'll disqualify her. I said, that's the only two ways. Other than that, she has plenty of retainability. She's got to go.
Right.
You know, and he kept going back and forth. And I said, let's put things in context. You're an active duty chief. I'm retired. Chances are you probably know somebody at AFPC that can make this thing go away. All I can do is give you an answer to a question.
Right.
I wrote that chapter in the assignments. I wrote those rules on purpose. They're black and white. You know, we spent months scrubbing this thing with senior chiefs and stuff, getting that down. I said, if they don't meet the exceptions that are in the back of the AFI, they have to go. And I said, she raised her right hand, agreed to obey the orders over her. That's what that assignment is. It's an order from somebody over. So anyway, a few days passed by, and the functional manager for supply, I knew him very well. He calls me up and he goes, I let her out. I'm like, you're a wimp. Well, the chief was whining so much. He said, I just wanted to get him off my phone. He said, I had a special duty here at Kelly Air Force Base. I'm bringing her down here. And he said, that makes everybody happy. And, I got another one I can put over in Korea. It's not that big of a loss, I'm like, you're still a wimp, So, about 60 days later, he calls me again. I'm like, this must be freaking good for you to call me twice within 6 months and in the same year. I mean, I said, what the heck are you calling for? He goes, hey, you remember Glory Girl? I'm like, yeah, the one that didn't want to go to Korea. He goes, well, she got down to Kelly and they did a drug sweep. She popped positive for marijuana. She's on her way out to the airport.
Jeez.
And I'm like, oh, so the shiny airman wasn't so shiny afterwards. He goes, oh, yeah, it's better than that. The chief's so embarrassed. He's retiring.
Oh, man. After all that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I'm like, well, okay.
Jeez.
So she ended up getting thrown out of the Air Force, after we went through all that to get her the assignments, It's like,
gosh.
So they haven't called me since then. So I guess they figured it out. But
yeah, they got it.
But I've been retired less than a year, so they knew they could get a hold of me. And I'll answer questions today if they call me. But
sure.
I mean, everything's pretty black and white,
Well, especially since you wrote most of that stuff, or you had a hand in, creating it. I mean, they're probably like, hey, let's go to the subject matter expert and get the real deal, the real answer.
Yeah, because the chiefs always get their name on the AFI. The lower guys are doing the work. Our name's never going to go on there. It's always
right.
Written by Chief Master Sergeant so and so.
Yeah.
I didn't care. They take credit for that.
Sure.
It'll bother them, but But I mean, my government travel charge card program, we kept the cards in the office. They had to be going TDY somewhere on orders to get their card. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, it's my card. I'm like, no, it's the Air Force's card with your name on it.
Right.
You don't get to use it unless you're TDY. Well, I'm home one day and my phone rings, and this guy's like, "Sorry guys, I got this charge on my card. I didn't make this charge." I'm like, "Calm down." I get to my office. So I told my wife, "So I got to go in for a second." So I go in. I said, "Did you fill out the challenge on the back?" I said, "You didn't make the charge." "Yeah, I did that." I said, "All right, they're not open today. I'll check on it Monday." That's the best I can do. "Okay, all right, all right." Well, as soon as he left, I picked up the phone. It was Bank of America, and I called him. I said, "Hey, do you guys have video surveillance in a military circle at Lackland?" She goes, "Yeah, that's one of our DVR sites. We just put a DVR in there." I said, "This is a transaction card. I need about 5 minutes before or after that." Now, this picture is so clear that I can see him holding his government travel charge card. You can see him at the ATM, and I can see him counting the cash. That he
Is
said,
the same guy that said
yeah,
he didn't do it?
he said he didn't get. You know, I'm like, okay. So then I'm looking at his, because I could see their accounts online. I'm like, 800 flowers. The heck is that? You know, so I'm looking at it. "I'm sorry, babe." He sent flowers to his wife. He used the government travel charge card to do his file. And then I see something, Wilma Chevrolet. The heck's that? That's here in town. So I go down there and I was like, "What is this?" He paid his insurance deductible with his government travel charge card. So I'm like, "Oh, crap." You know, so I called my wife and said, "Look, I got a fraud case. I got to type a court martial package. I don't know when I'll be home." You know.
Man.
So I get all this stuff together, and then I went to go look at, because I had him sign a memorandum of understanding when it came in.
Uh-huh.
And I went to his personnel information file. Well, his letter was gone. I'm like, okay, so he removed his letter out of his PIF. I had the originals. I never put the original in there on it. So I had that. Typed all this stuff up, got it ready to go. Monday morning, my first sergeant came in. I said, "This is the clearest case of fraud you'll ever see in your life." And I sat down and told her all about it. So she called him in, and then I came walking in. I said, "Well, did I tell you when you check into this thing that I had the top charge card program in the entire Air Force, and if you abused it, you were going to get busted?" I said, "Here's the sad part about this. If you just owned up to these charges, you probably would have got slapped on the hand, but you lied."
Right.
You know, so whatever happens to you is your fault. So they busted him to senior airman. Now he had longer than 10 years. Now he's higher tenure, because senior airmen couldn't stay to 20. They had 10 years. So he lost that stripe. So he's on his way out of the Air Force.
Jeez.
So, but then OSI goes to check his place, found out he's running a car stereo installation business out of his base housing, which is also illegal. So we got to looking in there, and his wife had got thrown out in Alaska for the same thing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, are they this stupid? I mean, his wife got thrown out for this. She's here with him, and he thinks he can do the same thing here.
Yeah.
So that was one. And I had another one girl call me. They lost their wallet at Six Flags over in Texas, you know. So again, pick up the phone. "Oh yeah, it's a DVR." So I got them there counting their cash. You know, I called Lost and Found at Six Flags. I said, "Did anybody turn anything in?" No. So that one I picked up. You know, I called investigations over at Security Forces. I said, "I'm gonna let y'all have fun on this one." I said, "Because I had fun on the last one." I said, here's the deal. You know. So they called her up, said, "Hey, we want to talk to you about your lost wallet." So she goes over there, and as soon as she gets in there, they said, "Take a look at this picture. It kind of looks like you, doesn't it?" "Oh, it made me do it." So she's out on the way home. You know, government charge abuse. But probably the best one I ran across, I had just come off weight management. You know, so I knew how the weight management program worked. I got there to a unit. They put me down here at Supply Squadron because they had gotten marginal on their last ORI rating.
Mm-hmm.
And so the commander was like, "Just get me a satisfactory so I can retire." I'm like, "Sir, that satisfactory is not in my vocabulary. I'm going to get you an excellent. I can't get you an outstanding because you have marginal." So the highest thing gets excellent. I will get you excellent. So I'm viewing all these weight management folders, and I come across this one girl's folder, refused to weigh in, refused to weigh in, refused to weigh in, refused to weigh in. What the crap is this? So I go out to the secretary. I'm like, "What is this?" "Oh, she just won't weigh in." I'm like, "And this lieutenant's buying this story?" I said, "All right." So I called her up. She came to my office, and I said, let me put things in context with you. The game's over. You're going to lose 1 pound or 1% body fat per month, or you're going to be out of my Air Force. You're not going to tell me you're not going to weigh in. If you're on your female cycle, we'll send you to the flight surgeon. It'll be verified, and as soon as you're off your cycle, you're going to weigh in. You're not going to tell me you're not going to weigh in. It doesn't happen here. That game's over with. And because I told the commander, he goes, well, I never knew about it. I said, yeah, because the lieutenant was signing off on it. And, so 4 months later, she's on her way out the Air Force because I developed a spreadsheet that showed that she had met the Air Force standard and had maintained it for 4 months. And then she shot back up out, eating again.
Yeah.
When she said she couldn't meet the standard. They called that the most technically accurate air court martial they'd ever seen.
Oh, really?
Because I had the Air Force standard there on this spreadsheet with one line, and I had bar graph for where her weigh-in was.
Uh-huh.
I had those 4 months there in a row where she had met standard and maintained it for 4 months, and then the shot up to against standard.
So you knew she could do it. She was just refusing to do it.
She said she couldn't do it. She was just a big girl, and so those are just some of the history. I mean, there's probably a million more if I sit down and talk about it, but those are the ones that stick in my mind, all the time. But I had a good career. I'm 100% disabled because of the career field, but most of us are out of our career field.
Right.
But I'm functional.
Yeah.
I know some of my brothers don't know who they are, which kind of bothers me. But their minds are so messed up with the PTSD and stuff like that. You feel for them, but what can you do?
Right.
Because they're in a home somewhere, a veteran's home somewhere, and that's where they'll die because they just don't know.
Right.
But yeah, me and Tommy Case go back and forth all the time, with the ketchup.
Did you know him from Carson, or when did you guys run into each other?
I never knew. He was the in charge of TACP Association.
Oh, right.
I'm the treasurer.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I met him, and then when we met in San Antonio, not last year, the year before that, we had both bought each other the same shirt, which says "I put ketchup on my ketchup." we both showed up with the same shirt. So I got back here after here. He sends me a case of ketchup packets. I took them to a pantry.
Sure.
So I just play back and forth with him every now and then. I'll throw something at him, or he'll throw something at me. We laugh about it on the phone. I know
yeah,
he's good people.
Oh, but he's great. He's awesome.
We'll be bouncing back and forth. Go polish your medals.
He's got enough of them, doesn't he? Good Lord.
Go polish your silver stars. You're bothering me.
Right.
But he's a good guy. He's been through hell. He's there. He's there in San Antonio. Well, not San Antonio. He's Herbert. So we're coming up on, in 27 will be our 50-year anniversary of the career field. So we're hoping we're pushing hard to have that in Fort Walton Beach. So that's where most of us went up until like 2010 or whenever they moved it to San Antonio.
Yeah, I think it was because I was the superintendent down there when they moved it, and I didn't move with him. So yeah, I think it was like 2012 or 14. I want to say that is when they actually started. Because I think Matt Nugent took it over from me. But yeah, I was down there for a long time, and then they moved the PT field a couple of times, and I'd cycle down there periodically, and and I think they got rid of the O course too. I think they tore that down.
Yeah, we went and saw when we were down there the where they're set up now for these gyms are like, good Lord, this state of the art stuff that they use.
Right.
Now they've got dietitians on staff. They got physical therapists on. So when these guys get knocked up out in the field, they got people that can fix them now.
Right.
I'm like, these people are machines,
Yeah. And even more than that, like before, they do stuff to prevent those injuries. Like, just think if you would have had those same assets when you were in, you probably wouldn't have suffered any of those injuries. You'd probably be good to go. So it's just we just beat ourselves to death. We didn't have any. I guess we kind of knew that we were doing it, but what are you going to do? You throw in a ruck, or you get in a track, or whatever it is. You got to do it. So
See, I was a leg, or a dirty, nasty leg, as you want to call it. I did the airborne PT with the airborne. I did the PT with them, the drop and rolling and stuff like that. So I'm sure that's how I screwed up my shoulder, but but it's still service connected,
Yeah.
And but we enjoyed that, when we were at the 21st task all together, you had to kind of watch your back because people were going to mess with you if you didn't.
Oh yeah.
You know how the games go.
Sure. You got any that stand out to you?
If you left Frankie Mabry, up until they tore the old 21st task down, his beret was still up in the ceiling because he couldn't. I don't know how they got it up there, but it's stuck up in the highest part of the building, but it's up there. And he had to get another one because he left it laying down somewhere. So either it'd be encased in ice or
right,
or something like that. If you don't leave your beret around where somebody can get to it.
Oh no.
And then when you left, you always got wash racked.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that was coming. You just didn't know when, but you knew when you left you were gonna get wash racked. So. But I left TAS in April of '85, and
what'd they do to you?
They wash racked me.
Well, for those, talk through that. Like, I don't think a lot of people know what that is.
Well, we had the old big 416 trailers. Have the generators and stuff in them. Well, it was always one of those empty. They fill that sucker up with water, and you take a bath. That, or somebody's up on the roof with a 55-gallon thing of water to dump on you when you come walking out. They threw me in the water.
Oh, did they?
Calling wash rack. On your last day you're going, something's going to happen to you.
Right.
So, but we all lived in the same dorm, and the guys drank a little bit too much, be fighting out in the hall. So, but that's normal. That's normal barracks life.
Oh, for sure.
But got up to Fort Campbell one time when we. I don't know if you ever went to Fort Campbell.
Yep.
And
I never stationed there, but I've been there a couple times. Yeah.
Saw the admin locker. In the old
I never saw that.
Well, the old days they had an admin locker that was full of admin supplies until you pull a little switch and it would swing around. You go through the admin locker into their bar.
Nice.
Yeah. An elaborate bar inside there, and you access it through the admin locker. So you had to have your admin locker card for them to let you in. But when we were through the Y, they let us in there. Like now, the new one that's there now, it's not like a bar, but they got their place where they can go. It's a pretty nice facility.
Yeah.
So we went up there. Was it 21? I think we were up there. And that's when I got my first glimpse at an Apache. I'm like, that is one badass helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff hanging off. Good Lord, look at all the missiles and everything.
Yep.
And they did a flyover for us, And, of course, they do the memorial push-ups, which I can't do. My shoulder will lock in place, Go take me to the hospital. So I want to do them, I can't.
Yeah.
So, but, heck, our first 4 years, we could waste money. Left and right. In fact, I was on an aggressor team when I was at Shaw my first 4 years, and we go everywhere. And our goal was to try to breach security of the bases.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were assigned to Shaw, so I told him, I said, I can get back on base. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, there's a hole over in the fence by housing. I said, it's been there for years. I said, security forces might know it's there and might not know it's there. I said, but I can get back in that way. So because they made us leave the base, and then the object was to, have us go on.
Right.
So what they did is on the first day, we took, his last name was Matthias, and he's out on the active runway throwing smoke grenades out on it. So they pick him up, and he starts speaking Swahili. So they're like, the crap is he saying? So while he's doing that, I'm up the other end of the base, red tagging all the F-16s, So we ran the cops back and forth so much, the next day every 5 feet on the flight line was a cop. I'm like, okay, well, they can't be watching much, So we had an Army major with us. So he calls in a bomb threat to supply. And from the O Club, we're all sitting there, and he had a time. He's like, 2 F-16s don't take off Havana. Hey, your commander die. When you hang up, and they couldn't trace it, because around back then.
Right.
So he goes, what are you doing? I said, let me change my clothes and take your car. I'll just go off base. I'll come back through. They won't know it's me. So I went around, found out where they were all at, and then we hit them again. Shaw hated us after that, but the only base we could not beat was Eglin.
Oh, really?
Eglin, we could not breach them no matter what we tried.
Wow.
They were, I mean, they got star rating. We couldn't breach them, and we tried hard too.
What kind of things did you do at Eglin? What were you trying to? How'd you try to get on?
We just try to get on, and then no, you don't belong here. I mean, they have some kind of check system that they put in place before we got there. They knew we were coming.
Oh, okay.
But the fun one was at Myrtle Beach. We went over there, and I'm coming in off the water on a Huey with a gunner's belt on, and I'm looking, and these toads, we call them toads, up on there on the roof with the news media filming it. And I'm like, really? So we went back to our hotel and regrouped, came in and hit them at 2:00 in the morning. Yeah, don't film us. We don't like that, So
well, that's what's going to happen anyway, too. I mean, so that's realistic. It's not going to happen in broad daylight. When they're ready.
Yeah, one of the last ones I was on, we went out to Salina, Kansas, and we had rental cars. Well, these guys on the base took the keys to our rental cars. Well, I low crawled on my belly all the way across this field, flattened all the tires on the vehicles, and put a tear gas thing in every one of their foxholes, and then backed out halfway across the field and started shooting at them.
Yeah.
They come flying out, diving in foxholes and all that tear gas, So to debrief it, tell them, don't take our keys.
Yeah.
That's not cool. So, and we had exercises going all the time when I was at Shaw. Let me retrack a little bit. And one time I got to go with a comm jammer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a guy in our career field named Doyle Kilgore. Love you, Doyle, if you hear this. So. He said, "You won't take me out." And I said, "All right, steak at Charleston's on the thing." And so we're listening to the radio, and he comes across the radio and he said, "Change to frequency haircut." And I told the guy, I said, "You can't be this stupid." He goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Go to 3510."
Uh-huh.
That was the Air Force thing for the haircut, and there he was. So I'm listening to everything he's saying. I said, "I know where he's at. We can get in behind him." So I got my Jeep in through pine trees. I get across where I'm on the other side of the field where he can't see me, but I can see him with binoculars. And I said, "He's going to pop smoke here in a minute." I said, "What I need you to do, as soon as he pops smoke, I'm going to grab the radio and go hit my smoke. And I need you to jam all the radio behind me." So we watched him. As soon as he popped that smoke, I was like, hit my smoke, and jammed the radios. And he looked around. I pulled up next to him. I said, "I like my steaks medium rare. I'll see you tonight." So I'm sitting there listening, and they had ABCCC flying up there in his bookshelf.
Uh-huh.
The guy on the radio had kind of a tick to his voice, like bookshelf. He had it at the end.
Uh-huh.
So I can duplicate that. I said, if they don't authenticate us, we can have fun. So we sent every set of Navy fighters home. They would check in. I go, "Navy fighter, this bookshelf, we're canceling work today. Return to base." They never authenticated me, so they turned around. Well, at the debrief that night, the Navy commander was hot. "We didn't get any work today." I stood up and go, "Did they sound like this?" He just looked at me and just sat down. We were going to do anything we could do to stop you from working. Not my fault you didn't authenticate.
Right, yeah. He taught him a valuable lesson that day.
But anyway, those are the kind of things, we just sit around and just talk stories, but man, we could have coffee. I could probably think of 50 more things that came up, but
yeah,
enjoyed it,
Yeah. So real quick, how did they make the decision to go from the 21st task to putting you guys out on the Army Force? Because when I came in, we were already there. But what were they talking about to kind of get that going?
Some major came up and did the math and found out that the Air Force could save all this money by putting us at the Army Force.
Oh, okay.
Instead of paying TDY. Well, ironically, now they're going back to the super talks.
Yeah.
And they're going to farm us out to the Army again. And we're like, didn't we just do this?
Oh, man. I'm telling you.
And it didn't work. It's not going to work this time either. But
There's so much like that nowadays. I mean, it's really crazy because you hear about it when you first come in about how, they just redo the same mistakes, but then we're living it right now. We're kind of getting a firsthand account of it. I mean, it's so crazy.
I mean, because every time we went to Fort Campbell, we had hotel reservations.
Hmm.
I don't think I spent a night out in the field because all of a sudden my radios would break. And you're going,
Yeah.
my radio station, we drive down to Nashville, spending at the bars in Nashville, come back out in the field next morning.
Right.
Radios break again, like piece of junk radios. Listen, and what would cause you key it and hold it up to the speaker would give you feedback.
Sure.
So like, hey, we enjoy life,
Yeah.
But one time we were out there, I was with this commander, and I'm like, don't unpack. He was like, wow. I said, look right at the fork of that tree, and I seen the Huey sitting there hovering, and all of a sudden, here comes the other two, boom, taking us out. I'm like, okay, we gotta go to the next one. We just got killed.
Jeez.
But I'm like, at least they didn't make us unpack,
Right. Right.
So with that kind of stuff, Campbell, when I had an airborne flying up there, I was like, above the pine trees, all these perfect circles. And I'm looking at it, and I'm talking to the pilot, like, the crap are those circles? He goes, just watch. The Cobra helicopters would chase each other, and they come and they drop down in them holes. They cut the tops of the trees out with their rotor blades so they could come flying through there and dip out of sight, and the guy would fly over top of them and dip up behind them and shoot each other in the butt.
Wow.
And I imagine if you go up there and look at those trees from the sky now, they're probably, the limbs are longer on one side than we're on the others.
Sure.
I don't know how they did that without crashing, but
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, that's crazy. That's a ballsy move.
but they were everywhere. And I mean, the circle was wide enough, you could tell what they had done. I don't know who first want to come up with it, but they get down the very top of that tree, and just start honing stuff out,
Yeah.
So I had somebody that tried it one time, and they just practiced it, and they got good at it. So, but yeah, the whole thing about going out to the Army was there. But then when I came out of recruiting, they sent me to Langley, which is where the functional manager was.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to think his name was Soria, maybe, when he was there. But Mitch Monroe was there too.
Oh, okay.
That's where I met Mitch. And so they first put me in charge of a barracks, dorm chief, So I looked him up, and I'm like, look, I'll come shine your shoes, get me out of here. There's got to be something I can do. So he brought me over there, and I kind of admin assisted him. But I got to work on the focused planning study that Mitch was working on.
Oh,
And
okay.
what that was is we were telling me, hey, Army, we're going to come, we're going to be on there, but you got to give us X number of space. Our airmen require 270 square feet of living space versus the 90 you're giving your people now. So way back in 1988, 89 was what's becoming our facilities today.
Yeah.
That all starting back there. And of course, everybody knows Mitch Monroe designed the flash
Right.
that we have now.
Yep.
So, and he's now retired as full bird colonel back down in Sumter, where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
And
You guys keep in touch?
I do online, because the ironic thing was when I got stationed at Shaw, he was at tech school. He was behind me. I thought he was ahead of me, but he's behind me. So I go to this church, Alice Drive Baptist Church. All these people, I'm like, oh my God, welcome back. You look so good. I'm like, I ain't never been here in my life. Who the heck? And then,
What?
And then they stop and they back up. Like, well, you're not Mitch. I'm like, who the heck is Mitch? And they thought I was Mitch Monroe. Well, from a distance, if you look at us, we do look sort of alike back then,
Uh-huh.
So I actually went and got a shirt made. I'm not Mitch. For the church, and I made a big deal out of it. And then I met him. And I'm like, the friendliest church I ever been out. They were welcoming me there on it. But I was kind of unnerved. Everybody welcoming me back. I don't know who these people were.
You're like, did I blank this out? What happened?
What happened here? What? But yeah, I mean, like I said, I would not, if I went back in, I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't change nothing.
Yeah.
I would do it exactly the same way, because it's what made me who I am,
Sure.
I'm a professional tax preparer now. I've been doing it for 44 years. And that's because I was at Shaw hanging out at the bowling center. I bowled on the team with an IRS auditor who wanted me to marry his daughter. I thought she was a little young. I was like 22. She's 14.
Yeah. Maybe a little too young.
He goes, well, bring your return over and I'll check it before you mail it so you'll know it's right, you know. And I took it over there to him. He's like, who taught you how to do this? I'm like, nobody. This is not hard. He goes, we're starting a new program. He said, if you help us, we'll send you to school. We'll give you a license. You make some chunk change on the side if you want. And you agree to help us. And that's where the voluntary income tax assistance program started.
Oh, wow.
You know, so for 17 years, I did military returns through that program for free. And in February and March of 1996, I did 679 returns in 20 days.
Jeez.
And they were like, how the heck did you turn that many returns? I'm like, they're one W-2 returns.
Yeah.
I said, they're 5-6 minutes each. It don't take long to do these, you know.
Right.
And you know, I said, we've never seen speed like that. I'm like, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
This is not new to me. I know what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
So I've got a successful business on the outside now, 977 clients that I've done.
Wow.
Over 2,000 returns that I filed this year. And I'm one person. I work right here where you see me at now. I work right out of my house. And,
Yeah.
you know, so I make a pretty good living on this side. I don't need another dime. I'm fine with my military retirement, my VA. I'm fine.
Sure.
But the money I make through my tax business allows me to donate to organizations I care about.
Uh-huh.
So that's
Yeah. Speaking of that, what are you into now? What organizations are you focused on right now?
Well, I'm still in the TACP Association.
Okay.
Now, what we've done is it used to be just one, but the association was a C19.
Mm-hmm.
C19s can't lobby. Okay. Well, C19s can lobby, but C3s can't. So we split off. 21, I think, was when they came up with us to create the TAC Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So we've farmed everything in the foundation. Now they take care of the Gold Star mothers and all that other stuff. Our role in the association now is we're the lobbyists to get the equipment and you know, facilities and everything they need. We now can get on Washington Hill and lobby for this stuff. And we got 2 guys that are basically our lobbyists.
Oh, okay.
And they work through us now, so legally we can lobby Congress.
Nice.
You know, to make the guys, you know, career field, to get them the equipment they need.
Right.
You've been out there. If you don't have the equipment, you're dead. You know.
Yeah.
And things are advancing so fast. You know, I'm looking. You know, the guys got controlling air of something holding their palm. They're like, we got to carry 100 pounds of radios. You got it in your palm.
Exactly.
That's not fair. You know.
I know.
But I mean, they go through so much more now. We were sitting there. In fact, there were 3 of us from Eagle 2 who went to the Eagle 100 graduation.
Mm-hmm. And
Chachi, I don't know if you know Chachi.
Yep.
Chachi was a guest speaker there, and he said, we got 3 Eagle 2 graduates in presence with us, and it was Chief Devine, Dave Carr, and myself.
Okay.
We were all in the same class together, and of course, Eagle 100, so they were like thinking we're, you know, gods and shit. We were like, no, after what we've seen you going through, we would have died.
Right.
But, you know, I say that, but I know if the career field like it was back then, if like it was now, you're right. We'd have been in much better shape. We would have known what to do. We'd been able to take care of ourselves with these gyms, you know.
Yeah. Having a doctor that you can just go to at any time, you know, hey, I got this little pain right here, and they fix you up. Yeah.
So I mean, they can repair you in the field now. So I'm just at awe with the stuff that they have. Now, I understand the school's going to move to Vegas. I don't know when that's going to happen.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's where the JTAC is now. So it makes perfect sense to do everything there. So,
sure.
You know, so there'll be some savings there now because they'll be on Nellis Range. You know, so because right now they're in the pipeline doing everything. Everybody goes airborne now. Everybody goes survival school. You know, back then when I came in, you could volunteer to do that stuff. You know.
You're right.
Me jumping out of airplanes or dangling on a string wasn't my thing. So
sure.
So I claim my title of dirty, nasty leg proudly. You know. So.
Right.
But because I kid them all the time, you know, all the airborne guys saying this stuff. I said, let me get things straight. I said, you got this parachute, you got all this equipment on, you get on the airplane, you hop off, hoping your parachute will open. It opens, you hit the ground, you got to fight to shoot, if the wind don't take you down the field, pack it all in to ruck it into where? And they look at me and I said, where I already am enjoying beer.
It's true. It's true.
I told him that all the time. I said, who's smart? I don't have back. so, we had fun back then. I'm not afraid, we had each other's backs, and they do today too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it really is a unique career field. I mean, in that regard, I mean, it's, it doesn't really matter what you like. You kind of, to your point, you guys give each other crap about it, but at the end of the day, we're all, wearing the same beret, and it's really cool.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. And I'm, I'll get to another graduation. Especially if I move to Vegas, I'll be going back up there.
Right.
There's a direct flight from where I'm at in Richmond, Virginia, to Vegas. I can get there.
Sure.
Of course, I'm gonna do.
Plus, it's Vegas. I mean, that's
gambling while I'm out there, but So.
Right. Exactly. But do you have like a timeline on when they're going to do that? What did they say?
I don't. I mean, I know we found out about that. Do you ever know a guy named Chris Gendron?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gunny and I were pretty close.
Yeah, we were all down at his place, having just a memorial for him at his place.
Right.
I mean, there are probably 75, 80, close to 100 of us there.
Wow.
At his funeral. We all did the crest into a piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Wife put it in the casket with him, so that was even neater than just hammering the cassette. He's got that laying on his chest with all of our crest on it.
Nice.
So it was a good send off. The honor guard they sent there did not do their homework. They only fired once instead of the volleys of three, and only one gun going off, and we were like,
oh man,
you do it. Yeah. I mean, he went down quick. I mean,
yeah, that was one day you're talking to him, and the next day he's gone. It was really, well, yeah, like you said, the descent was very quick. I mean, I don't think we all realized just how bad it was, but man, that sucked. I mean, that was like he's one of those guys that was like, you want to talk to again. You're like, man, I wish I could talk to him one more time before, he passed. I mean, he was such a great dude, and I never heard anybody say anything bad about him. I mean, he was just so nice to everybody, and always willing to help you out. That was the biggest thing that Gunny would do. He wanted everybody to kind of excel and be successful, and he was real selfless, man. He's awesome.
He was a lot sicker than you let on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he had cancer for a number of years, and none of us knew it because he didn't tell anybody.
Right.
What could we have done anyway? I mean,
right.
I don't know anybody who's survived pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it was him.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
Take anybody but Gunny. Come on,
Right. Exactly. Like, why him? Exactly. That's exactly what we were all thinking.
I mean, because Neil Wolf was having a tough time, and the association we sent him to Gunny's for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because his wife died, his dog died. I mean, the poor guy was just how much more.
He was going through treatment himself, wasn't he, for a while?
Yeah. He's cancer free.
Good.
But we sent him down there to Gunny's for a week, and Gunny reset him and got him back to where, hey, I feel so much damn better. Thanks for doing that,
Yeah.
And, so Gunny helped him, so. And now
that's perfect. Yeah.
Now Neil's down in Fort Walton Beach, so, So he's down there.
He's the perfect guy to do that. I mean, like I said, he always tried to help people. I mean, that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, he never said no. And in fact, I did his taxes for him.
Oh yeah,
he got more money back the first year he used me. He's never gotten back.
Nice.
I'm not getting this big refund from Georgia. I said, Georgia doesn't tax military retirement, dude. Oh crap! I didn't know that. Well, I can amend 2 returns for you. So I amended 2 of them for him to get his money back on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's the meme master. He's always got.
Yeah. Right.
You do something with him, what? No meme? What the hell?
Right.
You gotta give me my meme, damn it.
Yeah.
But we all miss him. It's
oh yeah.
I'd love to go down to his place and hang out and have a drink with him.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah, that's a tough loss. That's a tough one.
And we've had some tough ones through the years. So,
mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I guess they're all tough for sure. But it just seemed like Gunny was one of those dudes, like you said, like him. Why him? You know, like of all of us who probably deserve it, you know, he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, that one bothered a lot of people. You know,
Yeah.
that it was him. Like crap. You know, I mean, he was. I mean, he would put him. You know, there wasn't anything he wouldn't do. I mean,
Oh, right.
he would take care. He was there to take care of others.
Yeah, he put everybody else first. I mean,
And then
yeah, he's a great guy.
felt bad for his wife. They they weren't married too long, but they've been friends for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know she's taken care of because I know I'm pretty sure he left everything to her.
Oh, okay.
But I mean his place that he had there and that big garage that he had was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
With it reeked TACP.
Right.
God, I feel like I'm in heaven with all the TACP stuff on the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, we should have been having a Gendron Fest down here instead of Spill Fest. I don't know if you know about Spill Fest, Dave.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah.
That's you have to do that one. I couldn't go this past year. I was there the year before last. But
it looks like a fun time.
I couldn't get there this past year, but that will change your life.
Oh yeah.
If you get it will change your life. If there's any of them that's been there, they know what I'm talking about. It's just that unique experience.
Just everybody getting together and the camaraderie and.
Yeah, and you just sit around, and doing just like we do. We're telling each other stories, I'm really like, hey, remember the time we were this? Yeah, man. It's like, I mean,
yeah.
A big BS session is what it is. We're all because we know where we've been,
Right. We've all kind of done the same stuff, so we can all relate to each other. Yeah.
It's just good stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I know we like I said in the beginning, we missed each other a couple of times, but I'm glad we were able to sit down. I mean, this was really cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it really is, man. All right. If you need anything else, let me know. All right.
Okay.
I hope it's something you can use, man. So.
Yeah, for sure. I will definitely use this.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Have a great one.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.